Alright, so I'm here. I got the car out. I got the panel built for it. I'm just kind of trying to get a feel on how I want to route some wires, so we'll get to that. Okay, here's the panel. That's where it's going in my car. I didn't paint none of this because I wasn't sure. I'll mock everything up and then I'll paint it. Still got to get the dash in, but I'm going to get all this wiring lined out. All this stuff's going to get in casing. It's going to get done right. So that's the MSD box. Here's the plugs that go to the coils and to the distributor. They run up through the firewall there. And then this is what gives power and ground to this. So that's going to come up through here. And the power will go right here to the power. And then the ground to go right here to one of these grounds on there. And then all my switch wires are going to come down. Well, they're going to come down the roll bar, and then they'll probably go across under the dash, and then they're going to come right here, and then they're all going to get plugged in right there. And then all the outs are over here. I just put a bunch of colors on my panel. I'm not exactly sure what all colors are on the switches, but we're gonna get it all. Everything's gonna be on a color code on this car. Everything's gonna be all set on it. These are the wires that come off of my MSD. You got your gray, your tack, blue's your launch wire, pink I think's your step retard wire, and then the red, I don't really remember. The red might be the switch for the power to turn it on. I have to double check. It's been a while, so I'll have to look into that. I got a 100 amp circuit breaker. This is my lug coming from my battery. I got it taped up still. This is my power lug. And then I just got the wire feeding that. I'm probably going to upgrade to a little bit bigger of a wire. I think that's all 8 gauge. So I'll probably upgrade that a little bit. I don't think it needs to be much more than that. I only got 8 gauge coming off my lugs on the panel, but so that's what'll basically happen. So that'll go to that and give the panel power from there, and then the panel will be grounded. I don't know if it's going to go all the way to a battery ground or if I'm going to just ground it to the chassis. I'm not sure yet. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to get that panel mounted in there, and we'll be back. We got a lot of stuff to get done here. I got a little bit of downtime in between these cars. I'm waiting on parts for them, so try to get a little bit done when we can. Yeah, just try to get a little bit done. I'm just holding the phone right now. So we try to get a little bit done on this car. We got till April. Like I said before, the front end kit's supposed to be on its way. So hopefully that comes in. I got parts for one of them cars coming on the 2nd. I think it needs a starter too, so I'll have to get that taken care of. That way we can get that car out the door and be shopping around for another one. Until then, though, I think we got about 4 or 5 days to work on this, so hopefully I can get a lot of this wiring done. There's a lot of things that I have to address. I never had a wiring issue with it before, but I know it could have been better from all the stuff I added on over the past 2 years of running it, and just some things I want to clean up, and then adding the 2nd kit of nitrous, which won't be a big deal. I've got all the power I need as far as that goes. So yeah, we're just back at it with this car. And so far I got some little rubber isolators that I'm going to use under it. like this. So that's where I'm going to be mounting the back. And then my only option really was I could have either got a piece of aluminum and bolted it down right here and ran it across to here to bolt the panel. But I didn't want to drill through the frame rail and mount it that way. So I just opted to go through the floor with some spacers and some isolators. It's just holding the electrical panel, and I think that's going to do just fine. I use the isolators, I figure, to minimize any vibration on the panel and whatnot. So that's basically what I did there. Couldn't really figure out exactly how I wanted to do it. So that's how I did it. It is what it is. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, so that's basically where I'm at. I'm gonna get this all mocked up and then take it all back apart so I can paint all this and get it all squared away. And I'll do some I'll put the phone on the tripod and do it once I get putting it all back in there and start messing with some wiring. I'll just try to maybe finesse my tripod up in there. I do have a phone mount on my roll bar. Maybe I can get you guys up there. We might get as far as getting the dash in this thing today. I'm changing the steering column, so I don't think that's gonna affect me having the dash in. It might make it a little harder, but I want to get a lot of this wiring done, so that's it, all mounted. I had to just use some against what I wanted to do, but I had to use some zip screws back here, but I got the rubber isolators under there. I don't know, I thought it would be a nice touch. And then I got those mounted with the spacers. I used some cap nuts on there with the rubber isolators. So that's in there, and it's in there good. That ain't going anywhere for a long time. Now the process of messing with some wiring. I guess I can try to figure out a way to mount the phone in here, and I'll just time lapse it or something. Or I can just keep coming on one thing at a time. What I'm gonna do next is these two power and ground off of that plug. So we'll get power and ground to the ignition. That's right there. First things first, and then I gotta do these as I go. So these are just gonna go to here. So I'll probably maybe try to figure out a way to sheath them together, or I'll put these in my own sheathing and then they'll just come out right here, and then all you'll see is what has to be seen. Because obviously this one has to go to the nitrous. So this one here, the step retard will probably go on the second kit. And then I'll just use the launch retard on the first kit, because I can pull timing, from the time of the launch when I use that. So if I got that at 1 second, I can have this leave on whatever timing I want, and then I can pull 2 degrees when, or 4 degrees, whatever I'm running, 150 probably out of the hole, might go 250. So this will just pull that amount of timing I need it to pull on a ramp with the controller, and then when I hit the second kit, it'll pull more timing. I believe. Sounds good, don't it? And then this one has to go route all the way up to the dash to go to the tack. I still haven't double checked what the red one is, but it's got to be switch power, ignition power. So that'll be like constant power, this red one, I guess. This red one's probably supposed to go to battery power, but we'll we'll look back into it. It's been a couple years since I hooked this up, and like I said, I just tore all this wiring out because I knew I was just going to redo it all. So I got to double check on the website and see exactly which way them two red wires have to go. That red one there might have to go all the way to my post. I don't really see the difference. They claim there is, but if it can just go there, that's what I would like to do. It's cleaner that way. So we'll get that rocking out, and I got to figure out some of the wires coming through here. The nitrous wires, the line lock, the fans. I got to get all those. I got to have some sort of wire for lights going up there. Water pump, things like that. Next, I think I'm going to come up here. I'm not going to change my switch panel. I got this old school, probably older than a lot of the people watching my videos, painless switch panel. So next thing I'm going to do is zip tie that to the roll cage, bring it on down here, and route that up under here to come over here and come on down to go there. I got to check all the color for the switches on there, see what does what, double check. I don't remember it on the wiring, so we'll do all that and then we'll come back. All right, so we're over here messing with the switch panel, taking some notes, figuring out what wire does what. I pretty much got it all figured out. It's just got this old school 90s style switches in it. I could upgrade it. I've never really had a problem with it. So the only thing that I'm looking at is on the water pump switch, you have pump and then you have pump and water. So you can just run your water pump so you can warm your engine up or whatever, and then, like, you know, in your return lanes or whatever, you can run the fan and the water pump. The only thing, like, my car had a mechanical water pump on it, so I had this unhooked, and I would just run the fan off of this switch. I do plan on putting an electric water pump on it, but the thing I did was I already made the sleeve for the wiring, and I had removed how this was hooked up before. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it how it is, and this switch will power the water pump and the fan. And what I think I'll do is I'll just, because I'm going to power my nitrous off of these two switches, so I have a nitrous switch, you know, the old nitrous switch on my dash. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to interrupt the fan with that switch instead of going through the issue of getting a wire routed back through here, because I'd have to run a fan wire from here, or actually I think it would be a water pump wire, whichever wire it would be. So I'm not going to do all that. If I was doing somebody's car, I would probably just tear all this out and just redo it, because it's supposed to have diodes and all that. I took all the diodes out because I don't want to have diode issues, so I just run everything separately to its own relay. I don't know, I probably should just put a new switch panel in my car, but maybe down the road we'll do that. We're not having no issues with this one yet, so I'm just gonna, I got all the colors. I've done this before. I already knew what all the colors were, so I'm just gonna button this up with a few zip ties, make sure everything's good to go. I'll put a couple screws back in the case, and I'll just leave this loose while I hook it all up. This is one of them little diodes that was on there. I don't know what, honestly, I'm not, I think it just keeps it from feeding back power, maybe. I'm not sure what a diode. I think it just, when you run this to this, it keeps this from sending power this way and this from sending power this way, kind of like a blocker, I guess. or maybe it allows power to go through one way, but won't allow it to go through the other way. Makes sense to me. I don't use them. Rocking the ZWN gear today. My buddy. Still waiting for him to get that YouTube channel up and running. Wayne, where you at? Yeah, so I'm just gonna get all this zip tied up, buttoned up. I got all my colors for what's what, and I got all that going on. So, yeah, I basically got pretty much all these colors I put on my panel. I could have thought about it and did this before I built the panel and put them all in nice order and stuff, but it is what it is on my car. It's gonna come out nice still. That's all I gotta do here. I'm gonna jump back on this, try to get this all, crap, I gotta hang it back up because I want to zip tie this to get it where I need it to be. I don't want no extra wire, none of that. So I'm gonna put this back together. It's gonna work. I just feel like this switch here feels a little wore out, but I think I can just pop that out and replace that while it's in the car. It looks like I should be able to. If not, I'll just unscrew the faceplate and we'll do it like that. Yeah, that's pretty much that. I'm just gonna get back at it. We'll be back. All right, we got that just zip tied up there for now, and then I gotta cut all the zip ties, but I got that pretty much ran right on down the roll bar, and then it comes across here, and then I got the power and ground for the switch panel hooked up, and then these are gonna run under here. I'm gonna put another sheathing on those, but they're gonna go under there, and they're gonna come out and hook up right here, and that'll be the switch side. Then we just gotta come out from here. I actually gotta take that yellow wire and separate it. It's gotta come this way. So it's gonna come out this side from underneath with the rest of these. I have to run it to the back because the relay for that, instead of running a long power wire with power, I have the fuel pump relay in the back. That way it's just got a nice short power wire, and then the only wire that's long is the trigger. That way it's not running power through that, because then you got to run a bigger gauge wire to get the power all the way back there. So it just makes sense for me to have the relay in the back for that. So the yellow one, there's my fuel pump off the switch. That one's just going to route this way and go all the way to the back with tail light wire. That way I have a tail light. I don't know if I'm going to hook up both yet. I'm going to kind of miss having brake lights and blinkers and reverse lights and all that, but I might hook the reverse lights back up because I do kind of like being able to watch video and see when I let go of the trans brake, because obviously reverse lights go off. But I don't know. We're going for light, so we're probably just going to run what we need on there. So that's that. I'm going to wrap up getting all that sorted out. Panels all mounted. Looks good. I like it. And I got to get this rest of this painted, but I'll probably go grab some paint today, so at the end of the day today I'll get all that painted. Yeah. Well, I didn't get quite as far as I planned on getting today. It's kind of a long day. I had my daughter and people blowing my phone up all the time. But we did get most of the switch panel hooked up. I got This is my ignition wire, pink right here. And that goes to this wire, which runs under here. So I'm trying to find a way to sleeve it. This is the fuel pump. It's gonna go under there with that. So they're gonna both go on a sleeve, but I gotta wire my rear lights. So all those wires gotta get in one sleeve so I can shoot them back together. I got the shifter pretty much, I think, satisfied with that. I got neutral safety switch, trans brake comes up through right there, and then the trans brake's on that button, so it comes through there. They're gonna go down there. The button's gonna get power from right here for the trans brake. That'll feed the button its power, and then the button will come and switch the brown wire, and I'm gonna run it through a relay just because that's how I've always had it. So this will come back out and go to the trans brake. Got all them wires in there. They're all gonna work from underneath the panel and just come out and go to here. I still gotta clean up there as it goes. I've got the starter wire. I'm gonna run a new switch wire to the starter. Yeah, I mean, it's starting to get cleared up a little bit. Still got a little ways to go on her, but she's coming along. So, yep. I don't own the rights to this music. Yeah, so I got a couple wires over here. This one was going to the front fuel pump for the nitrous line lock. That one's hooked up, so it's gonna run under the dash. I don't know, I think this one just like intertwines. It was just kind of thrown in. That's what I mean about wiring. You know, as you add things and stuff, things just kind of become a mess, you know. So it's going through the firewall all the way over there. So I'll get that redone. This car might need a new line lock. I'm not sure. It doesn't really hold it back very well. I don't know if it's the line lock leaking or what's going on. Everything's all new there. So that's them MSD coils. Yep. I want to put a electric water pump on here. I probably will. We got to get a new nitrous kit. You unhook that one. Got that one for sale. This is a nice little alternator. I think it's like a 50 amp or something. Tiny little guy. My trans lines. I think I'm just gonna run them to the transmission. See what it do. It ain't never got warm off a cooler. And I feel like if I'm just running it down the track, I mean, I don't plan on doing no round robins. And then if I have an issue, I'll throw the cooler back on it, but I'm gonna run it to the back. These are the old fan wire. I'm gonna run new because it's gonna have dual fans, and I'll probably run them each off their own relay like that. And this is the relay for the nitrous. It's wired through that relay. I think that's normally closed. So when you get on the trans brake, it opens that relay and it shuts the nitrous off while you're on a trans brake. And when you let off trans brake, it turns the nitrous on. That way you don't blow your damn intake off or something crazy. These wires are got to be redone. And just another thing that was spare of the moment was for the crank button. So we'll get that. I'm gonna just go through all this stuff. I need to put a bigger wire on my alternator. It's only got like a, I don't know, that might be a 12. Going to the starter. So yeah, a lot of work going on with this baby. Figured that dash out. I don't know if I'm gonna buy a dash. I don't know if I'm gonna change that column out before I put the dash in, but I know I need the dash in to button up some of the last minute wiring. I took that back panel out. This car I'll cert 850. If I was gonna cert it, I'd have to put that panel back in there, and I got a couple spots that need to be sealed up. I don't know what that was from there on the floor. Somebody did something crazy. Other than that, the floor looks pretty good. It's not bad. Got a proportioner valve for the rear. Yeah. I'm gonna paint all this black inside of here. Like this. Just needs another coat. Yeah. It was running and ready to take some heads off before I tore it apart. I was getting the front end kit, and then one thing led to another, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna rewire this car because I'm thinking about excuse me, maybe taking on a few wire projects. So I figured if I rewired my car, my old 90s switch panel, I figured if I rewired my car, I might get some people interested in wiring. Obviously, if my car had a passenger seat and all that in it, my panel would be either tucked up under there or back here on the roll bar. Pretty much whatever somebody wants. Mine's going right there because it's right there. I can access it, no problem. Nitrous bottles up. I want to get a stand up and maybe try to mount it off the old seat bracket. Get a stand up bottle holder. But if not, a lay down holder would look pretty sweet right there. Depending on how the car acts, we might move the battery up here. But we'll see. It's got rod door panels. It's got 85 little zip screws in them. I don't know why they come with so many, but they do. So, store all my random parts in the trunk. The battery down there. The tank's set down in there. That's the tank for the nitrous. Fuel pump for the nitrous is in there. Got the battery tender on here. Yeah, so back to the streets. So that's that. 28, 10.5, small tire. Got that front clip. I should probably post that for sale. I mean, this car was pretty nice. A lot of compliments on it all the time. The engine bay was all, for the most part, smoothed out till I started putting holes in it and stuff. I put them holes in it. Yeah, just a small black Chevy. Oof. Runs all right. All right, y'all have a good one. Appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe.